what is the drawback of rejection sampling? Can anybody come up with a drawback? Purva, yes.
In this example, we was also sampling newscasts.
Yes.
And we didn't, because call didn't depend on newscasts, so we didn't.
Very good. So, Purva says newscast is actually irrelevant for the purpose of B given C. So, let us not even sample irrelevant variables. Good point. We can get rid of the irrelevant variables. Fine. What else? There is one more sort of more important in some ways. Yes, what's your name? Abhyuday, yes.
Probability of call is very low.
If probability of call is very low, very good. Let us think about what is going to happen then. Probability of call is very low. Now, we are interested in B given C, but C itself is very low. So, what is going to happen? Most samples are going to get rejected. So, it is going to become an extremely expensive algorithm. So, this is what is rejection sampling. It rejects if it does not match the evidence, it returns consistent posterior estimates, but if probability of E is very small, then it is going to be hopelessly expensive, and moreover, and this is an important point, probability of E drops off exponentially with number of evidence variables, or can drop off exponentially with number of evidence variables. So, if I have too many evidence variables, like my question is probability of query given E1, E2, E3 up to En, and all there are so many evidence variables, and I am saying E1 should be true, E2 should be false, En should be true, whatever. So, I have given a very specific assignment of these n or k evidence variables. Then what is going to happen is that the probability that I am going to get exactly those evidence variables in that specific configuration is going to be extremely small, and so most of the samples are going to get rejected. So, that is the issue with rejection sampling. So, intuitively what do we want in our sampling procedure? Intuitively, what kind of sampling procedure would be a better sampling procedure? Which? In which evidence is always true. Very good. Divyanshu says, look, I should not be rejecting anything. My evidence should always be true, otherwise I am wasting time. So, my goal is now to come up with a sampling procedure where evidence is always true, okay? And one such algorithm is called the likelihood weighting algorithm. Now, the problem is we will have to force the sample to agree with the evidence, and if we force the sample to agree with the evidence, we will not be sampling from the prior distribution, we will not be sampling from the unbiased distribution. So, we will have to add correction to our algorithm, okay, and this correction would happen in the form of the weight. Okay. So, let us look at the specific example. So, we started sampling, burglary was false, earthquake was true, alarm was true. Now, comes the key step. Are we going to sample again from call given alarm? What do we want? We want C to be true in this sample. We do not want to reject anything, we want C to be true. Now, tell me in what fraction of the cases will it be true and in what fraction of the cases will it be false? In 0.8 fraction of the cases it is going to be true, and in 0.2 fraction of the cases it is going to be false. If we had run rejection sampling, we would have sampled this, and 20% of the samples would have gotten rejected. So, actually if we do not sample it, then this sample is only worth 80%. It is not worth the full 100%, because we have already rejected some. So, we are going to say that C is true, we are not going to sample it, but with a weight of 0.8. This sample is only 0.8 of a sample. This sample could have been 1 if we had allowed ourselves to sample C and C bar, but we did not. So, this sample is only worth 0.8. If there was another evidence variable later, then that weight is going to get multiplied in the first weight. So, we are going to keep multiplying the weights. And then eventually we are going to say probability B given C is the total weight of samples where B is true divided by total weight of all the samples. So, this is the weighted average. Not each sample is equally important. Some samples really aligned with the unbiased sampling like 0.8, but some samples did not. We had to pay a lot of cost, because here C given A bar would have been estimated with would have been sampled with probability 0.05. So, 95% of the time we would not have seen this sample, only 5% of the time we would have seen this sample. So, its weight is only 0.05, and this algorithm is called the likelihood weighting. Now, in only 5 minutes, without going into too much detail, I will show you that this actually gives you the right probability distribution. And if you do not get this, it is okay to read the book, but I will give you the intuition of why this is the right algorithm. You think about it. See, there are two things that are going on. One is that I am doing the real sampling, but one is that I am not doing the real sampling, but adding some weight. Together they should be equal to the sampling from the prior distribution. If together they are equal to sampling from the prior distribution, we are good, right. Now, what is the probability with which we are sampling? The probability with which we are sampling is only probability of hidden variables given parents of hidden variables and query variables. So, non-evidence variables. So, our sampling probability, right, our sampling probability only samples tosses the real coins for only those variables which are not evidence. So, this is, by the way, neither the prior nor the posterior. In prior we would have added probability of evidences also, and in posterior we would have been sampling each variable given the evidence variable. We are not doing that. We are always sampling a variable given its parents. So, it is neither the prior nor the posterior, it is somewhere in the middle. But what is the weight of a sample? And weight of the sample is probability of the evidence variables given its parents. We sampled it specifically, but for that evidence we used the weight that was in the conditional probability table and we multiplied those. So, that is it. Now, since we are doing weighted average, let us look at what is the product of these two terms. Product of these two terms is nothing but the prior probability distribution. So, if you think about it, we have divided our problem into two parts, one when we are doing real sampling and one we are doing sort of implicit sampling and rejection, but we are putting that as the weight in the term, so that we do not actually have to do it and reject it. So, together the sampling probability and the weight is nothing but sampling from the unbiased prior probability distribution. Therefore, it returns consistent estimates. Now comes the more interesting question for you guys. Think intuitively again. Is likelihood weighting a better algorithm than rejection sampling? Better in what sense? Okay, good question. Better in which sense? Is it worse in some sense? We need less number of samples for, or we would need less number of samples because we are not rejecting anything. We are still getting consistent estimates, so we are not hurting on the quality or the accuracy of the algorithm, but we are reducing the time taken. So, overall, is it a better algorithm? Yes, right, better in that sense, but we are still not satisfied. What is the problem with likelihood weighting? This is not easy, but let us see if somebody has any intuition about what is the problem with the likelihood weighting algorithm. It is only sampling the evidence correctly, it is never sampling something that needs to be rejected, but still it is not the greatest algorithm. Why? What is the fundamental issue with this kind of an algorithm? What is your name? Vidit says deciding weights. Is that a problem in this algorithm? Weight is whatever the probability is of the conditional probability table of the evidence variables. So, there is no issue on deciding. Let us make sure that you understand this. This weight is 0.8 because this number is 0.8. This weight is 0.5 because this number is 0.5, and that depends on whether I sampled alarm to be true or alarm to be false. So, no, deciding of weights is not a problem. Can somebody else see what might be an issue with the likelihood weighting algorithm? Sukriti, yes. Okay, so Sukriti says weights are being multiplied and over time some samples will have very small weight. Okay. How would that be a problem? Very good. So, Sukriti hypothesizes that it is possible that there are some samples which have a very high weight and every other sample has an extremely small weight. And in fact, that is sort of what is observed in the likelihood weighting algorithm as well. Let us take another step back. When we want to compute probability of B given C, what probability distribution do we really want to sample from? What probability distribution do we really want to sample from? The probability distribution in which C is always true. We are only interested, now think about this, suppose I have got a call, it is better to think intuitively here. Suppose I have got a call from my neighbor that there was an alarm. Probability of burglary, should it be again sampled with probability 0.03 and probability of earthquake, should it be again sampled with probability 0.001? That probability distribution has changed. If I have got a call, there is a good chance there was alarm. If there was alarm, there is a good chance there was either burglary or earthquake. But when I am sampling, I start sampling with the prior distribution. Initially, I am not sampling, doing any change in my distribution when I am sampling. I continue sample in the prior distribution until I get an evidence. Now, the subsequent variables I do sample with the evidence in mind, but I have already done the wrong thing. I have already sampled lots of variables and come into a part where it is not even clear whether the evidence would have happened in a high probability or not. So, really what should I have done? I should have sampled from the posterior distribution, but I am sampling from somewhere initially in the prior distribution and later in sort of semi posterior distribution modes. And that does not necessarily take me to the regions which are interesting and important for the given evidence. So, Sukriti's point is right, there are very few samples that nearly have all the total weight, all other samples low weight, and therefore, likelihood weighting algorithm does not do very well. Moreover, most importantly to me, late occurring evidence variables do not guide sample generation, and those are what should be guiding sample generation. If I start out by saying, let us see whether there will be burglary, let us see whether there will be earthquake, it will always be false and false, almost. Probability 0.97, this would be false, probability 0.999, this would be false, very, very high probability, both of them will be false. So, 98% of the samples would be, or 96% of the samples would be in the region where neither burglary happened and nor earthquake happened, and I am always thinking, very low probability I would have gotten a call, very low weight of the sample, very low weight of the sample, and only by very small chance then I will have a higher weight of the sample, but that does not explore the full Bayesian network very well. Ideally, as soon as I have call, I should increase the probability of sampling burglary and earthquake, and that is not happening. And so, now finally, we are going to study the algorithm that has that characteristic, where when each variable is sampled, it is always mindful of the evidence that is given to us. Sukriti.
Why does this even converge? Isn't this a big mathematical flaw that we're initially taking?
Sukriti asks, why does it converge? We just proved it quickly. The weighted sampling probability is the prior probability distribution, and we can answer any query with prior probability distribution. So, in the limit of infinite samples, does it converge? Yes, in the limit of infinite samples it does converge. Again, you think about this. In practice, the weights are off, the probabilities are off, it takes a long time to converge, the number of samples needed is very large if evidence variables are at the lower part of the tree, not at the upper part.